bring in the best of Yahoo right now. Dan Tynan is going to run the next panel, and you're going to get your tweets ready. I'm going to put the hashtag up again. I believe it's, what is the hashtag again? It's FamilyTech CES, if you want to tweet. And I'm going to bring Dan up. Are you ready? Why don't you get plugged in? And Dan's, and David Pogue is going to be here around noontime. They're at Yahoo Tech. If you go in there, they've been pioneers in bringing sort of the journalism and a digital magazine format to millions and millions of people. And Dan writes some wonderful columns there, and we couldn't have a better moderator for this next piece. And he's going to plug in.
I'm not even going to show anything.
Oh, okay.
So am I live? Do I talk here? All right. Good morning. My name is Dan Tynan. I write the Modern Family column for Yahoo Tech. No, that is not a sitcom. I want to clarify something Warren said. I'm not the best Yahoo has to offer. That's David Pogue. And I want to make sure David understands that. Before I introduce, I'm going to introduce our panel members one at a time as they come up and do their presentation. Before I do that, though, I'd like to start by making a few grossly oversimplified and obvious statements. Here's the first one. Every generation is different. When I was young in a previous millennium, I used to come home from school each day and camp out in front of the boob tube. Today, kids camp out in front of YouTube. But they're not just watching TV, and they're not doing it on a TV. They're doing it on their phones. And they're not just passively watching. They're actively participating. They're commenting, they're sharing videos with friends, and they're uploading their own. At this moment in time, there are at least 1 million kids out there trying to be the next Justin Bieber, and 2 million parents horrified at the thought they might actually succeed. But Justin is not the biggest star on YouTube. The most popular YouTube personality right now is a 25-year-old Swede named Felix Arvid Ulf Kjellberg, better known by the name PewDiePie. PewDiePie has more than 33 million subscribers, and I'm willing to bet that none of them are over the age of 13. His videos consist of extremely goofy and occasionally obscene narration over video game clips. Each one is roughly 5 to 10 minutes long, yet I challenge any of you to get all the way through one of them. PewDiePie's videos have been watched 7.3 billion, with a B, times. That's 66 times larger than the audience for last year's Super Bowl. It's more video views than there are people on the planet. So to recap, kids today are different. The way they approach technology is different. That means the way we have to teach them is different. The games they play and the virtual worlds they inhabit have to be different. Which leads me to my panel. We've gathered 4 thought leaders from some of the top educational and entertainment companies who will show us how they are approaching the YouTube generation. And we'll start with Eric Levin. He is the founder and CEO of M5 Consulting, a former top executive with the Learning Company and Mattel, and a trusted advisor to dozens of technology and toy companies, including Kurio. He's here today to talk about Kurio Extreme and the kid tablet market.
Thank you everybody. So I think what's interesting, and you'll see today, is most markets segment themselves if you do a good job, and I think each of us does something different and thinks about the market and delivers to our audience. For our audience, you know, what we really think about is that kids are true digital natives, and I want to go ahead and start by showing a couple videos. A lot of what you're going to see in my videos, I have a few as I go through, you're going to say, well, that's obvious, I know it, but I'm a big believer. You got to keep going back to the fundamentals or you lose track of what you're doing. Yeah, let's see, this should.
I'm going to hand you stuff and you tell me what it is, okay? I'll ask you a question and you tell me the answer, okay? All right. 1 second. What's your name?
Superman.
Superman? What's this?
Baseball.
Baseball, very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What shape is that?
Triangle.
Very good. Can I see it? Thank you. What color is that?
Green.
What color?
Green.
Very good. Can I see it? Tyler, will you turn this on and play your new Cars 2 game?
Before kids even learn the basic shapes and colors, they interact with information.
So just a little reminder here, how native this is to kids today. So when we talk about the YouTube generation, from the day they're born, they have cameras in their cribs. They're dealing with this information. So what we really look at is, what we're trying to do is, these kids are going to do this. How do we make sure it's safe? How do we put guardrails on it, knowing that they're going to do it? And designing product from our perspective, what we see in our research is, and there's a place for everything, but what we see from our kids a lot is, I want a real tablet. I don't want a toy. I don't want something that looks like a tablet. I want the real thing. And by the way, they know how to use it. I'll show you this next video here just to kind of reinforce. So, you know, again, is this broken or what, right? I mean, like, these kids, they get it. They get what's going on. It's so natural. It's more intuitive than what we think of as one of the most intuitive things, even a magazine, right? I mean, it's incredible. So what we really take a look at and what we try to do with our device is provide a good alternative for a kid that wants a real tablet experience, and by putting, you know, guardrails around that piece of what they do. So for us, a lot of that is about having really good parental controls. And in particular, you know, this is technology. So you do something cool, 6 months later, everybody's copied it. It's not easy to stay ahead. So we were really at the forefront of this, and pretty much, you know, most of our competitors have done a great job of copying our main parental controls. I think the area where we still really think is the most important and excel is in the internet filtering. We have a really intensive ability to do internet filtering for parents to define exactly how they want to do that internet filtering at really deep and detailed levels, to block any pop-ups, to block online purchases, to block in-app purchases. These things are really big issues because, you know, if we go back to this next video here.
Sounds great. A daughter buys a gift, a car for the whole family. The problem is she's a baby going rogue on a smartphone, and she's not the only one doing it. ABC's Neil Karlinski.
Like a lot of kids, 14-month-old Sorella Stout loves playing with her dad's cell phone. After all, what toddler doesn't love to push buttons? Harmless enough, or so everyone thought, until Dad got this email that made his stomach sink.
I actually didn't realize until I got an email from eBay saying basically congratulations.
Little Sorella.
So again, these kids are pretty intuitive at this stuff. And our philosophy at Kurio, what we try to do is really make it so that kids can do all the stuff that they want to do, they intuitively know how to do, but that they don't really get in trouble, whether on purpose or by accident, and get involved in things that they shouldn't be getting involved with. So that's our philosophy on how to deal with the YouTube generation. We think it's going to happen. There's no avoiding it. Let's put guardrails on it. Let's make it as strong as we can in terms of taking care of it. And we look at it from a parental philosophy of, you know, from the time they're very little, when they're learning to ride a bike, you put training wheels on. Everything they do as a parent, you're trying to keep them safe. It's really about giving parents tools to do that. And because it's built into the hardware and it's intuitive, it's really easy, and it works. And so that's how we approach it at Kurio, and you'll see, I think, a little different philosophy from some of the other people that come up.
Excellent. Eric, thanks. I have a question or two for you.
Sure.
One thing I'm curious about is when I talk to parents, I talk to what age the kids start to get smartphones. And I hear more and more that in 3rd and 4th grade, kids are carrying around their parents' old iPhones.
Yeah.
And when I talk about, well, maybe you want to get them a dumb phone, not a smartphone. They say, but the kid wants an iPhone because his friends have an iPhone. What age does brand become important to kids, and how do you deal with the fact that,
Yeah.
you know,
I think about 8, right? Before 8, every kid asks for an iPad. That's what they ask for. They get something else. If it does the job, they're usually pretty happy, because at the end of the day, the hardware is really just a delivery mechanism. It's about the content. So if they're getting the content they want, they get over the brand really quickly. If they're not getting the content they want, they reject it instantaneously. So, you know, for us, as we look at it, that's been our philosophy. The interesting thing that's happened on the tablet side, we do make a phone as well, but it's a very nascent market. But on the tablet side, our registrations last year were 15% 3-year-olds, 15% 4-year-olds, 15% 5-year-olds, 15% 6-year-olds. It's getting younger and younger and younger, and we're losing them. We used to think it was up to 12. Now we think at 8, they're moving on from anything that's a kid product. They're really complaining a lot.
Are you planning to play in that space after age 8?
We do have some things we're looking at later in the year, but it's totally differently positioned, because there's a lot of, in reality, the big companies do a great job for those ages, and so we had to work really hard. We just got some research back about how to really deliver on that.
Okay. One other question, and then audience questions, we'll wait to the end. Everyone has spoken. At what age do the kids start to chafe at these great parental controls you guys have?
As soon as they get them. So in fact, we had, I had an interesting call. The Wall Street Journal did a review of kids' tablets, and the reporter called and said, listen, I love your device, but I have to tell you, you're not getting, you're getting really bad, you know, feedback from our kid panel. I said, why? What's happening? Well, it keeps blocking everything. I said, well, it's supposed to, that means it's working. So there's an educational piece to say to parents, the reason it's blocking that pop-up is because it was an inappropriate pop-up. So we're actually doing our job, and you need to explain to your kids that that's not a problem. That's what it's supposed to be doing. So from day 1, you really do have to say, hey, kid, you know what? You wanted to play this game. You're playing this game. You're not supposed to be buying something in the app anyway. That's why it's not letting you. And so there's a conversation at 3 with these kids already.
And no buying cars.
No, well, hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Dr. Jody Sherman-Lavas. I said that right? Yes. Good. Jody is director of the learning team at Leapfrog, makers of the phenomenally popular series of educational toys and tablets. She is a textbook author, a former visiting scholar at UC Berkeley, and according to her LinkedIn profile, used to operate heavy equipment for a living. I am dubious, but anyway. This will no doubt come in handy as she demonstrates Leapfrog's next innovation, Leap TV.
Great, thank you so much. Back in 2011, Leapfrog made a huge splash and really changed the way kids play by introducing the first ever kid-focused tablet, the original LeapPad. And although that was just 4 years ago, there was a lot of concern at that time about online safety, about whether or not kids should even be playing with a tablet. Fast forward 4 years, we're talking about the YouTube generation now, and parents have come a long way. The dialogue has really moved now to one of how can I make the most of technology and the time that my child is going to spend with technology, whether that's through quality content experiences, co-viewing and co-playing experiences, as well as taking tech time and bringing it into the real world. So throughout that time, Leapfrog has addressed the whole child. We've always designed literacy, science, math content, but also focusing on creativity and music, and even now physical activity and health, which we'll show a little bit of with Leap TV. We've also offered parents an opportunity to connect with their kids through play data, so showing them where kids are struggling, where they're doing well, and the skills they're working on, as well as providing families with printables and activity ideas so they can put down the product, put down the tech, and play together to extend the learning. And one thing that Leapfrog's been successful at over the years is taking very sophisticated technology, whether that is a touchscreen tablet or a wearable device, then marrying that with education and entertainment and providing amazing experiences for kids. And fundamental to that success has been understanding our audience. And the YouTube generation now are kids that expect all screens to work for them. They expect the content to allow them to create, to connect with each other, to provide that sense of community, and also that the content is going to be curated for them. It's going to be just what they want to play with. And so one example of that is when kids are seeing their older siblings, their parents playing video consoling games. Kids now expect that they should have a piece of that, and we think they should too. And so we designed Leap TV. It's the first educational entertainment video consoling system for children ages 3 to 8 that has been designed specifically for them. So part of knowing our audience means that we had to know what to do with the hardware. We could have designed games and put it on other platforms, but when we looked at the controllers, they were pretty sophisticated. They were sort of big. For example, and the UI was pretty intricate. So we designed a controller that fits little hands, and so you'll see here it's small. It has only the buttons kids actually need to play the games. And this controller also transforms. So at the touch of a button, this now becomes a princess wand or a baseball bat or a pirate sword, anywhere our imaginations will take us. So that's one example of really knowing our audience and making sure we have an experience that's perfect for them.
A controller has been disconnected. Please reconnect your controller.
Another example of knowing our audience is that we know that every child is unique. I'm going to give you this other controller so you guys can play. We know that every child is unique, including the way they learn. So 3-year-olds have a very different academic experience than 6 or 7-year-olds, for example. And so we wanted to design games in which children could play together but have experiences that are appropriate for them. So like much of our Leapfrog content, our curriculum automatically levels up or down. As a child answers questions, it'll become more sophisticated. If they're struggling, it'll actually level down. So today we're hoping to demo a kart racing game. Great. So Monica and I think Warren are going to be playing this together.
Power up level
Monica is playing as Abby,
Player
who's
2.
a preschooler.
It's your turn. Player 2, 3.
And Warren is playing as Max, who's in 1st grade. So he's answering a subtraction question on the bottom half of the screen.
1.
So that question is much more appropriate for him.
Tires. Check.
And his card that he's picked out is being souped up as he's answering these questions.
It's your turn. Player 1, find the number 10.
So Monica's playing again as a preschooler, so her questions are about number identification. So I have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. They played this 2 nights ago. Again, receiving the curriculum that was just right for them based on the profile system that you put onto the device. So the Leap TV knew that one of my children was 4, one was 7. The games are custom tailored just for them. So that's our kart racing game. They answer those curricular questions together, and then they get to go into race mode and actually race each other. So it's an example of delivering on what kids really expect nowadays, which is content that is perfect for them, but allows them to connect and play together.
Exhaust pipe. Check. Power up
Another
level 2.
Yeah.
Player 2,
it's
your turn. Player 2, 4 minus 0 equals what?
Yeah. No, that's great. If you get it wrong again, that'd be great.
0 equals what?
If you got it right, he couldn't help himself.
Nice job.
So we have different levels of wrong answer responses. If you'd gotten it wrong again, it would have given them a hint to look for a larger or a smaller number.
Select a power
Now they get to select their power-ups based on how well they've done in the curricular round. And now they get to race. And so again, they're going to see themselves on the split screen as they go into the race mode. So this is perfect for play dates or for when you have 2 siblings in the home. Again, the curriculum is just right for them, really delivering on a lot of the expectations that kids have today. So Warren's on the bottom, 6th place. This game you can play using the tilt functionality. There's an accelerometer in the controller, or you can use the thumbstick. So you get either way to play this game. You can see where you are relative to the other players. Provides a lot of fun. This is just a classic play pattern that every kid would expect with a consoling system. I don't think we're going to let them play the whole round. That's probably actually... Are you getting dizzy watching this? I love watching kids play because they use their whole bodies to steer. I actually do the same thing. So Leap TV has 3 ways to play. We have the controller, which you're seeing now. There's the pointer mode, which I showed you by transforming the controller. There's also a camera to provide camera and motion-based play. So I'll show you that in a video clip. So another expectation for kids in this generation is that they want to play the way they want to play. And a video consoling system really encourages kids to get active, get up off the couch and play using your body. And what better way to do that than through a sports title? So we've also developed a sports title for kids featuring their favorite character, themselves. See themselves in the game answering the question. So in this clip, you'll see my son Christmas morning playing a karate game. He got it from Santa. Santa was awesome. And he's asked to find all the squares. So we're not hearing anything, but he's being asked. He has to avoid the distractors. His little brother is helping or hindering, I'm not sure, in the background. So he's in the game. He's actually seeing himself playing karate by chopping the correct shape, avoiding the distractors, which really is a lot of fun. The questions, again, become more sophisticated as he practices and as he levels up or levels down. Yes, that adds an element of challenge to the game.
Perfect.
So with Leap TV, we're really opening a new category for learning and play, encouraging kids and families to get up off the couch, be active, and play and learn together. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Jody.
Thank you.
Jody, I have one quick follow-up for you, and that is pretty much every product I see aimed at kids below a certain age is labeled educational. How do parents know if it's really educational? I mean, are there things to look for? How do you figure it out?
I think parents probably have different perspectives on what is educational. I think the talk about Toca Boca is a great example. Some parents would consider that educational. Their kids can learn.
Right.
Other parents are going to be looking for more overt curriculum. And I think kart racing or even karate is an example where it's pretty overt that we are teaching children shapes in karate. In kart racing, if kids press the hint button, which is on the controller, they'll get tutorials that will actually teach them how to solve the problems. So there's different definitions of what's educational. I think it's important to encourage all types of learning, and kids can learn in so many different ways.
Terrific. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Clark Stacy. He's co-founder and CEO of WildWorks, which produces online worlds like National Geographic Animal Jam. In just over 4 years, Animal Jam has grown to more than 20 million players in 140 countries, and more than 60% of them are girls. Clark is here to tell us about social networking and privacy for the younger generation.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure.
I don't have a demo, so I'm going to borrow your podium. As Dan mentioned, we are the creators of Animal Jam. And if you're not familiar with Animal Jam, it is an avatar-based social network for kids. Most players are between 7 and 11 years old. Our core is really girls about 8 to 10. They are most of the members in the world. We have now over 25 million kids have created about 90 million different animals. So the core fantasy in Animal Jam is to become your favorite animal and see the world through its eyes. We think of it in terms of being a social network kind of with training wheels. The challenge for kids right now coming into this generation, the YouTube generation, 81% of kids who are between 13 and 18 have Facebook accounts already. Now, they didn't get them on their 13th birthday, right? Most of them are already in there. Most of them are already in there. They're not revealing their real age, obviously, but that's a difficult crucible to drop a kid in that may not have the social skills or understanding yet to participate in full-fledged social networking with picture exchange and everything else. Now, in the United States, we have a legal framework called COPA, which most of you are probably familiar with. It's the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. The focus of that is to protect kids' anonymity online. Anonymity is kind of the first line of defense against adult predators, which is when the law was created. That was the big fear that social networking type sites or other kids apps might engender. However, while anonymity is their protection against, against ill-meaning adults, it is also enables bad behavior among ill-meaning kids. If you look at any YouTube comment thread, you'll see exactly what I mean. It is not a very civil discourse. So the challenge for us is, how do we create a social networking framework where kids can learn good digital citizenship skills, and these kind of things can be encouraged and engendered while they're communicating and while they're doing the sorts of things that they want to do with their peers. So while we've seen some great sandbox type play patterns here already today, the programmable robots or the Tokaboka games are all excellent at establishing that that user-generated core creative game mechanic. Animal Jam does this as well, and kids creating their own environments and their own personas, but really it's a personality laboratory. It's a place for kids to go in and experiment with different personas in a consequence-free environment. Now, ideally, they need to be able to do that in a not just consequence-free, but also profanity-free and adult-free. It needs to be controlled and contained. What we find in a lot of cases, we have all the same problems that a real-world playground does, right? If you've always got the one kid on the playground who's trying to teach the other kids bad words, the one kid who's talking about inappropriate topics or is being a bully or that. The challenge for us has been to create technology that applies heuristics to our chats so that kids can know that if they do receive some inappropriate comment, or if somebody's being mean to them, they can instantly close that off. They can instantly report that person. And we can start to find and encourage the good citizenship and not just punish the bad. The way that we do that is by opening up more and more of the social interaction to the kids that have demonstrated good social networking citizenship skills. Now, we're about to introduce a new product this year. We're calling it AJ Mobile for short. It'll probably just be called Animal Jam when it releases, but this is Android and iOS. It is a full tablet version of the Animal Jam experience. That presents a lot of new challenges for us. While we have taken Animal Jam into multiple languages now, that's going to require us stepping up our moderation game quite a bit and moderating in several different languages very quickly, simultaneously across different cultures. Some things where different things are appropriate. One example is, as we began to expand our presence in the UK, we had blocked the word mate in Animal Jam because we had a spate of animals mating in Animal Jam, or talking about mating in Animal Jam. As we went to the UK, where the word mate is used quite a bit differently, we needed to develop a little more sophisticated approach to what we filter when and why. Another example is, a few years ago, one of my favorite moments from having created Animal Jam was the first music videos that we started to see on YouTube. These were kids going in and creating these flash mobs of other kids to act out music videos in the game and then post those to YouTube. Now, I wouldn't know how to do that myself, but the organization that went behind this and the choreography and the amount of work they put into it was fantastic. And we supported this and encouraged this. What we discovered, however, is that the way that our chat filtering was working is when you put in, you say something in the world, a word balloon appears next to your character, and that goes out there. Now, it appears on your screen as soon as you type it in so that you have instant feedback that it's been received. And then once it passes through our chat filtering and heuristics, it will appear in the rest of the world. Some of you probably see the problem with that already. That is that we're not filtering it before it shows up on your screen. So while nobody else in the world might see anything inappropriate that comes up, you can capture for YouTube just your character saying just about whatever they want in Animal Jam, which is great for making music videos where you want that to be real time. It's problematic, however, when parents start sending us emails about, I saw these YouTube videos, I can't believe what kids are allowed to say in Animal Jam. So how do we balance giving them the creative freedom to go and do these things with not creating the impression that this is an online Babylon that we're running here? The solution for us has been developing over time kind of a sophisticated approach, trust approach to our digital citizens, where the more that a kid is participating in the world, the more that we've kind of seen some distance of ground with them on how they participate in the world, the more that they're trusted and the more that they're allowed to do. Right now there's a delay if you just joined Animal Jam between saying something and having it show up in the world, or show up on your screen, because it goes through our chat filter. We can remove that over time as you demonstrate good digital citizenship skills, so that we're rewarding the good and not just punishing the bad. So I'm very excited about the other products that we have to see here today, and I'm hoping there's some more questions about those.
Thank you, Clark. It was terrific. I have one quick follow-up for you, and that is Animal Jam is extraordinarily popular with girls. And as we can see by walking the floor here at CES, not a lot of girls. Why do you think that is? Why is it particularly appealing to them?
Well, I think that girls developmentally at that age are more prepared and interested in a personality laboratory than, say, a blow things up laboratory. We've made both types of games before, but they naturally gravitate to that. My daughter's 9 and plays a ton of Minecraft and a ton of Animal Jam. I would be surprised to, I've seen a lot of the custom servers that are set up for Minecraft that are much more social than most of the others. And I would not be surprised to find that about 80% of their participants are girls who like to build stuff and who like to have the social participation, but don't want the automatic assumption that it's all about competition or all about beating each other up. Or I think it's just lends itself to where girls are, our game does, developmentally at that point. And it's not something that we necessarily designed for. We're a little bit surprised to find that many of our most active participants were girls, and now we've kind of had to catch up.
Terrific, thank you. So before I introduce our next speaker, I believe we have a word from Microsoft.
Everybody have their Surfaces out? Good. My name is Lee Brenner. I'm from Microsoft's Bing Pulse team. And Bing Pulse is a new audience engagement technology that we just recently rolled out for live events. So if you actually pull out any phone, tablet, or agnostic, whatever tablet you have, your laptop, whatever it is, go to pulse.bing.com/FT1. You'll actually be able to vote in real time about the questions of whether the YouTube generation is yes or no, is it good or bad, do you agree or disagree with what you're hearing. So the idea is that it's kind of a digital dial test, if you will. We'll also be sending out a poll question during the event as well, so you can go to pulse.bing.com/FT1. We'll be able to take the kind of the pulse of the audience in real time. No need to log in, there's nothing to download, just go to that site and participate as often as you'd like. Thanks. You need, oh yes, and we actually, in this room, I believe, there is Wi-Fi if you wanted, if you don't have your phone service. Bing Pulse is the Wi-Fi network, and Bing Pulse is the password as well. Yeah. Yes, perfect, no. Pulse.bing.com/FT1. Yeah, the first question will be, yeah. Well, we'll roll it. It'll be rolled out. I mean, it's live on the. You're right there.
So we'll be able to watch and we'll be able to discuss the results. But it asks whether, for those of you who can't see in the back, whether YouTube is best for kids' entertainment, education, a creative outlet, wasting time, or all of the above.
Right.
And I'd love to get your sense of that. And with that, we return to our
Regular program. Thank you.
So far, I voted 5 times, just so you know. Our last speaker is Jeff Selinger. He's Senior Vice President at Disney Learning. the educational arm of the beloved entertainment colossus. The goal of Disney Learning is to use technology to deliver transformative learning products that combine the physical and virtual worlds. Jeff is here to unveil Disney Learning's new Magic Academy. Did I get that right?
Correct.
Yes.
All right. I think I vote E, all of the above is my vote.
You're not supposed to talk. You're supposed to, talking is over.
Well, because I'll thumb it after. Just have a few slides if we can pull them up. Would be great. So parents told us that it was challenging to find good learning products in the marketplace. Not that there aren't products out there, particularly in apps, but there's a lot. It's confusing. There's just a lot of apps, over 100,000. So how do you find good apps? How do you go from one subject to another and know what to get for your kids, let alone have a program that puts all of it into context for you? And so we saw an opportunity where we could impact that because we have franchises and characters that kids love and that parents trust, and then combine that with a research-driven curriculum and create experiences where kids learn from creating and making, and that output gets shared with parents. And that's the Magic Academy. It's a new learning brand for kids ages 3 to 8 that teaches through creating and making, and put together with the characters and franchises in a research-driven curriculum. So I think we're just trying to pull up the slides, but I thought what I'd do is show you a little bit of what the brand is and what are some of the experiences that we put out. We've started with math as the first. I have them with me. They're in the back in a bag there. Yeah. So it's not as good without the visuals, but we'll get those in a second. The first experiences that we put out are math, and we're following with creative arts in a few weeks. In each subject, and there's 5 subjects, math, creative arts, science, language arts, and social skills. We're building 5 applications in there, and we've combined it 5 applications into one, so it's easier for kids to explore across different curriculum inside there and for parents to find. Sure. Yeah, there's sound in there too. Other side.
While we're getting set up, any questions for Dan, who actually writes Modern Family at Yahoo, and has been following this as his kids?
Okay.
Yes, they're now old, but we're good? Yeah, as if.
Yeah. All right, let's see how quickly technology comes together. This is just a little video that shows a little bit of the brand.
This is for the children who ask why. For those who wish to explore their curiosity, spark their creativity, and fuel their love for learning.
For the children who wonder about the moon and the stars and want to discover them too.
The world is waiting for you.
I built a rocket and flew it into space. I made a character and put her in my own movie.
So let your creativity flow like pixie dust.
Become friends with the alphabet.
Make numbers dance and sing.
And show everyone that being kind is just as much fun as being smart.
I grew a beautiful garden. I learned sharing helps people live happily ever after. I wrote my first story.
This is for the children who end every sentence with a question mark.
Because we believe by thinking, creating, doing, all our dreams can come true.
In Magic Academy, where curiosity is a magical thing.
And so there's 4 components to the program. First, there's apps for kids, And we released the first ones in December. That's Mickey's Math, which you'll see. Then there's a companion app for parents. So rather than, the parents can access it inside the apps, but there's a separate application so mom and dad have it with them all the time. And what you'll see, I'll go into this in more detail, but that companion app, it offers articles, printables, conversations between parents, but the things that the children create in our apps show up in there. And it fosters dialogue between parent and child, which I'll explain a little bit more. And then finally, print and toys. And what makes this different is that first it's the characters and franchises that kids already love, combined with a research-driven curriculum that parents trust. And we try and create a family experience. So what I mean by that, let the children learn through creating and making, and then have that output shared back with the parent through the companion app, and then foster a dialogue. Because it shows the parent not only what the child created, but what they explored and what they learned along the way, while also offering physical activities that can complement the digital learning. And then lastly, this is a larger ecosystem of products where everything is connected into one another, and that applies back with the physical products that'll come out later in the year. In some cases, they have physical to digital components, but in any sense, they're connected into the ecosystem across subjects so that you know you can buy products across everything. So there's 5 subjects that we're initially tackling: math, creative arts, science, language arts, and social skills. The first experiences that we put out are math and creative arts. Math is already live, and creative arts will follow in a couple weeks. So I thought what I would do is show you a little bit of the math experience. So there are 5 apps contained in one, and of course you see multiple icons up there. Multiple kids in the family can play it with their own profiles. But within this, there's 5 applications that you can explore. And it's done in a freemium style, so you can download the app for free and experience each one of those to a certain degree for free. So as we go into the application, each one of these buildings is a different app, and you can rotate through. We've taken a lot of care to create a really engaging environment. All sorts of little fun activities, even just out in the hub area. You can click on things, find surprises everywhere. It's just very, very engaging for kids. Here you've actually got a little ice cream DJ that's serving up scoops, and you'll notice that you learn a little bit of counting, but you're also learning reasoning as they're changing colors. And these are just little activities, not actually inside the app, just a fun environment. I should also say that each world features a museum too, where it stores the things that the child creates, so they can go back in there and see all the things that they created. But mom or dad can also go in there and see the things that the child created and what they learned. And this shows up back into the parent companion app as well. So I'm going to show you one experience in here. This is Minnie's Robot Playground. And here, you're really exploring more around counting, writing numbers, learning to compose numbers, and everything offers creative view. So here you're creating little baby robots that you're going to take around this playground. And there's design to function based on the parts. They'll perform differently. And so as this baby robot comes out onto the playground, all the equipment that you see, like the monkey bars, they all teach you different things and allow you to explore different things. I'm going to show you one in particular today, which is the sandbox. And in this one, what we're doing is learning to write our numbers. If we want to make the sandcastles, we have to learn to write our numbers. And so you're showing the number, and then as you trace it in the sand, you'll see the mounds pop up, and then you drag it across to compose the number in any way that you want, because there's multiple ways to compose the number 6 or the number 4, and then you'll see the visual representation of that sandcastle. So here we see 6, and now we write 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then there's 6 mounds, and we can drag them any way we want to compose our castle. So in this case, 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And in the end, you get a beautiful sandcastle. And of course, the most fun is always destroying the things you make. And so here you can, destroy your sandcastle. And this entire world gets customized, which is a hallmark of the products that we create. So as you scroll back around, you see the entire playground is transformed into the child's own unique creation. They can go at their own pace throughout any of this and explore and create. And of course, it gets shared back with mom and dad. And so back in that companion app, this is a free application that parents can download. And it provides value back to parents regardless of whether you ever buy any of the applications or your kids download them, because it contains content, articles, interviews, printables, activities, things to help answer the question, what can I do with my kids today to help them grow? So when they download it, they can set up their kids' profiles and then see the things that their children are creating and making. And as they create those things, they'll show up in a feed just for that parent. And it'll show what they've been learning, in this case counting back from 10. And they can send a high five back to the child. So the kids actually know that the parents are paying attention to what they're creating and making in there. And from there, we'll suggest physical activities that complement the digital learning. So if you're learning about counting, here's an activity that you can do at home with your kids that'll complement that digital learning. And here's just a quick look at some of the categories. There's a ton of content in here. Every day there's new content, whether it's articles, interviews, activities, all free for parents, and the parents can connect with each other inside there too and have conversations. So the first experiences that we put out are digital. Those are live now. You can see Mickey's Math that's in the App Store. And then we'll follow with print and toys later in the year. And what makes print and toys and Magic Academy is that first is Disney at heart. It's the stories and characters that kids love and that parents trust. Everything that we put out will foster creativity and drive imagination, be very hands-on learning, and then lastly connected into that ecosystem. So later in 2015, look for physical products in mass retail. And that includes partnerships with companies like Kid Designs, Wonderforge, Mercury Active. One of the first things we're going to put out, though, is really cool. It's a plush, but it's not an ordinary plush. It actually has an operating system inside it, and it adapts to the things that the kids like. It'll help them with their reading comprehension. It'll do activities with the child. It'll actually even comment on the applications that they have from Magic Academy and the things that they're creating in real time. This is just a quick look at it.
Hi, Emma. Hi, Mickey.
Say, it's Thursday. Does that mean it's story time?
Yes.
Let's read Mickey's Moonshot.
And that's one of our favorite books.
The rocket is going up.
Rocket? Wow! Where's it going?
To the moon.
Hot dog. We learned lots about the moon earlier.
Terrific. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. One quick question for you, because I think we're out of time. You mentioned freemium. Can you talk a little bit about pricing, and are there going to be in-app purchases?
Yeah, so the apps are free to download, and there's 5 apps inside there. We wanted kids to be able to download them and really get a sense of what they are, and for parents to get a sense of what they are before they choose to buy them. So it's 5 individual purchases in there for each app at $4.99 each. You can buy the bundle for $19.99, but there aren't a bunch of in-app purchases along the way. It's either you want the full version or you want to stick with the free one.
Terrific, thanks. Are we out of time? Do you have time for audience questions? Okay. All right. 2 questions each or 2 questions total? 2 questions total. Okay.
Thanks.
And then take it offline. And Lauren, why did the polls questions?
Okay. Any questions for our esteemed panelists? There's one.
Hi, this question is for the last speaker. In terms of the physical component, can you give an example of that?
Well, the plush is an example of a physical product that will come out. We're not talking about the actual products that we're building yet, but they'll come out later in the year, and some of them work physical to digital, but everything is always designed in a way that the standalone physical experience is awesome by itself. A toy has to be a toy, but if it can have an enhanced experience while working with an application, even better.
Do we have another question? We have time for one more, so make it good. Way in the back.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. It was really wonderful. I'm an app developer as myself too, as a scientist and an app developer. And I've been working on apps for a long time. And a lot of the educators and scientists, early educators, they're very against the Common Core curriculum being pushed lower and lower. So now reading and language learning and trying to teach kids ABCs, they're saying actually it's not good to do it until like 4 or 5 years old. So what do you guys think about all these app companies coming out, pushing apps to try to teach children how to read at 2 and 3?
Yeah, so I can speak for us. So our focus was really around allowing kids to learn from creating and making. And so we put together a panel of experts and advisors that helped us build out the curriculum. And then in terms of the experience themselves, every day, you know, along with playtesting, which we all do, anybody who's building experiences with kids, we have experts on staff and people that come in and that work with us on those particular experiences and the way that we're achieving them. But for us, the focus is really around creating and making and learning through a really blended curriculum in there.
Yeah, I'll answer that as well. We have I lead the in-house team of learning experts at Leapfrog. We design educational experiences based on our own proprietary scope and sequence. We address early literacy for, you know, really even infants, yet learning to read itself, of course, is something that happens differently for every kid. So we offer content that automatically adjusts. If a child already knows their letters, they're going to move through the questions more quickly and learn how to put together letter sounds and words. And so really designing curriculum that is personalized and that adjusts for every child is how we address that issue. It's a great question.
Terrific. Hey, everyone, please give a round of applause for our panel. They did a great job.